Hey there folks, Stephen Colbert here, and tonight we're diving into the wild world of liberalism. Now, I know what you're thinking. Liberalism, isn't that just a political stance? Well, it's much more than that. Now, before you touch that dial, and I know some of you are already reaching, this isn't about left versus right. This is about understanding the foundational principles that have influenced societies for centuries. This is about the big ideas that shaped our world. Ideas that have been debated, fought over and celebrated throughout history. Liberalism at its core is all about freedom. It's about the liberty to think, speak and act according to one's own beliefs without undue interference. It's about individual rights, about the power of the people and about a government that works for us, not the other way around. It's the idea that every person has inherent worth and should have the opportunity to pursue their own happiness. It's the belief that everyone, regardless of who they are or where they come from, deserves a fair shot. This means equal opportunities, justice, and a society that values diversity and inclusion. Now, I know what you're thinking, Stephen, that sounds great and all, but how did we get from kings and queens to, well, this? How did these ideas evolve and spread across the globe? Buckle up, because we're going back in time. We're going to explore the key moments and figures that championed these ideas, from the Enlightenment thinkers to modern-day advocates. So stay tuned as we unravel the fascinating journey of liberalism. Our story begins in the 17th and 18th centuries, a time when Europe was going through a bit of an intellectual growth spurt. This period was marked by a surge in curiosity and a thirst for knowledge that spread across the continent like wildfire. Scholars, philosophers, and thinkers of all kinds gathered in bustling cities and quiet libraries, eager to share their ideas and challenge the status quo. Think of it as the Renaissance, but with less art and more arguing about the nature of government. Instead of focusing on painting and sculpture, these intellectuals were more interested in the mechanics of society and the rights of individuals. They debated fiercely, often in smoky coffee houses and grand salons, about how best to organize human affairs. This, my friends, was the Enlightenment, a time when reason and science began to take precedence over tradition and superstition. It was an era that laid the groundwork for many of the political and social changes that would follow in the centuries to come. Enter stage left, John Locke, a philosopher who believed in something radical: natural rights. Locke's ideas were revolutionary for his time, proposing that every individual was born with certain fundamental rights that could not be taken away. Locke argued that we're all born with certain inalienable rights, like the right to life, liberty, and property. These rights were not granted by any government or ruler, but were inherent to our very existence as human beings. And get this, he believed that governments should actually protect these rights, not trample all over them. This was a radical departure from the prevailing belief that rulers had absolute power over their subjects. Then there was Jean-Jacques Rousseau, a man who loved a good social contract. Rousseau's ideas were equally transformative, suggesting that the legitimacy of government depended on the consent of the governed. Rousseau believed that government should be based on the consent of the governed. This meant that rulers were accountable to the people, and not the other way around. In other words, no more divine right of kings, folks. The idea that monarchs ruled by divine mandate was being challenged and replaced by the notion that power derived from the people. We the people hold the power. This shift in thinking laid the foundation for modern democratic societies, where the voice of the people is paramount and the rights of individuals are protected. So, what are the big ideas that make liberalism tick? Let's break it down. First up, individual rights. These rights are the cornerstone of liberal thought, emphasizing the importance of personal freedom and autonomy. Liberalism is all about protecting your right to speak your mind, practice your religion or not, and live your life the way you see fit. This means you have the freedom to express your opinions, even if they are unpopular, and to follow your own spiritual path without interference. It's about freedom from tyranny, from oppression, and from anyone who wants to tell you what to think or believe. This principle has been a driving force behind many historical movements for freedom and justice. Next, equality. Liberalism says that everyone is created equal, regardless of race, gender, religion, or whether you prefer your coffee black or with a touch of cream and sugar. This belief in equality extends to all aspects of life, advocating for equal treatment and opportunities for all individuals. We all deserve the same rights and opportunities. This means that everyone should have access to education, employment, and the chance to succeed, no matter their background or circumstances. And let's not forget democracy. Democracy is a fundamental pillar of liberalism, ensuring that the government is accountable to the people. Liberalism believes in a government that's accountable to the people, where we get to choose our leaders through free and fair elections. This process allows citizens to have a say in how they are governed and to hold their leaders responsible for their actions. It's about having a voice, about participating in the political process, and about making sure that no one person or group has all the power. This participation is crucial for a healthy democracy, where diverse opinions and ideas can be heard and debated. Last but not least, the rule of law. The rule of law is essential for maintaining order and justice in society. This means that no one is above the law, not even the president. Take notes, folks. It ensures that everyone, regardless of their position or status, is held to the same legal standards. Everyone is subject to the same rules and regulations, and everyone has the right to a fair trial. This principle is vital for protecting individual rights and ensuring that justice is served impartially. Now, liberalism isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. Just like pizza, it comes in different flavors. Let's talk toppings, shall we? First, we've got classic liberalism. This is the OG liberalism, the kind that emphasizes individual liberty, limited government, and free markets. Think Adam Smith and his invisible hand guiding the economy. Then there's social liberalism, which emerged in the 19th century as a response to the growing pains of industrialization. Social liberals believe that the government has a role to play in ensuring social justice and equality of opportunity. Think welfare programs, public education, and healthcare for all. And finally, we have neoliberalism, the new kid on the block. Neoliberalism emerged in the late 20th century and emphasizes free trade, globalization, and deregulation. Think free markets on a global scale. Section 5, Liberalism goes global. Liberalism hasn't just shaped individual countries, it's also had a major impact on the world stage. Think about it, the United Nations, the European Union, the World Trade Organization. All of these institutions are built on liberal principles like democracy, human rights, and international cooperation. Now, I'm not saying that liberalism has all the answers. It's had its fair share of hiccups along the way, and there are plenty of folks who have some bones to pick with it, but there's no denying that liberalism has played a major role in shaping the world we live in today. Section 6. Not everyone's a fan. Critiques of liberalism. Okay, time for a reality check. Not everyone's head over heels for liberalism. In fact, it's got its fair share of critics, both from the left and the right. On the left, some folks argue that liberalism doesn't go far enough. They say it's too focused on individual rights and not enough on social justice. They want to see a more equitable distribution of wealth and power, and they're not afraid to use the government to make it happen. On the right, some folks think liberalism has gone too far. They worry that it's eroded traditional values and undermined social cohesion. They're skeptical of big government and believe that individuals and families should have more freedom to make their own choices. Section 7, the green question: liberalism and the environment. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, climate change. Some critics argue that liberalism, with its focus on economic growth and consumerism, is partly to blame for the environmental mess we're in. They say we need to rethink our priorities and find a more sustainable way forward. But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. Many liberals are acutely aware of the environmental challenges we face, and they're working hard to find solutions. They're pushing for renewable energy, investing in green technology, and advocating for policies that protect our planet. Section 8, Liberalism 2.0 - facing the 21st century. So where does liberalism go from here? That's the million-dollar question, folks. In the 21st century, liberalism faces a whole new set of challenges, from globalization and technological disruption to climate change and rising inequality. But liberalism has always been about adapting to change. It's about finding new ways to promote freedom, equality, and opportunity in a constantly evolving world. And I, for one, am optimistic that liberalism can rise to the challenge. Section 9, The Future of Freedom, Liberalism's Enduring Legacy. Liberalism isn't just a set of ideas. It's a living, breathing force that continues to shape our world. It's the foundation of our democracies, the driving force behind countless social movements, and the inspiration for people around the world who are fighting for freedom and justice. So the next time you hear someone talking about liberalism, remember this: it's not just a political ideology. It's a belief in the power of the individual, the importance of equality, and the enduring promise of a better future. And that, my friends, is something worth fighting for. That's it for tonight, folks. Stay tuned for more deep thoughts and hilarious commentary after the break. And remember, stay liberal, my friends.